So while things are objectively a little boring here in crypto land, what we do know for sure is that altcoins are going wild, and I believe a lot of that liquidity will concentrate and consolidate into Bitcoin for another leg up, a massive volatility breakout to the upside. That's my prediction. We're looking at price targets of up to 100K, but what I've noticed is that multiples of the previous all-time highs, specifically 20K, 40K, 60K, those seem to be the ones that have the most sort of friction attached. So it wouldn't surprise me to see us blow through 70K, create a ton of FOMO ripping through to 100, and then see things get really wild around 80 to 85K. That seems to me like it's going to be a point of tremendous interest. So as we erupt out, knowing that there might be pullbacks around those ranges, and knowing that as Bitcoin pulls back and stabilizes above all-time highs, we'll see dramatic rips from altcoins. Place your bets accordingly. Find your beloved ecosystem, whether it's Cardano, Polkadot, Polygon, Solana, they're all going to erupt with gains, and that's a fact. But of course, this is a wild bull run, and the truth is that I believe that we are not bear market proof yet as an industry. There's just too much froth. There's too much absolute insanity going on in this industry. There will be a massive correction. There will be another horrific bear market. So understand and plan accordingly, and actually set your profit-taking strategies. NFTs have quite literally destroyed Ethereum. It's ruined right now. And this is the tale of two cities. And although I'm a perma-bull on ETH is going to continue to go up. It is not only the most astronomically powerful store of value, which is now deflationary despite its woes on being actually functional. The reality is the more this happens, the more ETH gets burned. The more ETH gets burned, the scarcer it is, the more the price goes up. So it is this horrific and brutal cycle. But as we look towards a future with ETH 2.0 and proof of stake, well, sharding, all these wonderful things will solve or at least diminish the impact. Now that said, what we're going to go through is I'm going to show you one NFT drop that more or less completely destroyed Ethereum, completely. And then I'm going to tell you how I see the space going forward and where I think the biggest gains are going to come from. Now, this is bad. This is really bad. Now, the only explanation I could possibly think about is that USDC is in hot water. Now, this would be a sort of attack on crypto in general, because by criminalizing USDC, you essentially remove one of the biggest resources for the crypto ecosystem, which is stablecoins and stablecoin yield. Now, of course, you're not going to ruin algorithmic stablecoins, and it's really hard to argue that algorithmic stablecoins are bought with the expectation of profits from the work of others, or that they're securitized dollars. So this might be a big exodus from the USDC into algo stables. Now, the reality is here that we don't really know where the buck is going to stop here. What we see is a lack of clarity, and it's very disheartening. But there is a potential here, and here's the 500 IQ take here, is that first and foremost, Brian Armstrong feels like he's being uncompetitive, like he's not able to compete with these other, the BlockFis and the Krakens and the Geminis that offer stable lending yield, which is a product that every single exchange now has. So first and foremost, the more obvious play here is he's kind of saying, hey, look, if you're going to sue us, sue everyone else too, or at least send them a harshly worded letter so that they stop offering their competitive products that are drawing users away from us to them. That's step one. But my other thought is that actually this might prompt the SEC to make different legislation about DeFi in general. So if you want to go down the rabbit hole here and say that maybe Brian Armstrong is actually trying to attack DeFi here, I'm not saying he is, I'm just saying, hey, look, there's a potential here, an outside chance that the biggest threat to Coinbase's business model is in fact decentralized exchange and DeFi. And maybe, just maybe, actually DeFi is the thing that he's kind of forcing the regulator to make a decision on quicker than they would have otherwise done, meaning that essentially this is a play to try to get the regulator focused on the biggest threat to centralized exchange, which is decentralized finance. Welcome to the first of what will be very many, a significant amount of what I believe will be some of the most informative content here on YouTube about crypto gaming. Go ahead and smash the like for the co-star, the co-captain of this segment, of this movement, Mr. Alex Becker. Thank you for joining us.
Elio, what's up, man? How's it going?
Good, man. We've been talking about this for a while. It is so cool to finally be doing it. And it's really going to be the beginning here. Alex and I have been talking a lot privately about this movement. It's without a doubt the biggest thing that's going to happen to crypto. We're in agreement about that, right?
Oh yeah, I was looking at like a stat for OpenSea, and I'm sure it's a little bit higher now. It's always growing. There's 60,000 active wallets on it. I'm pretty sure 5,000 of those max, I could be off on this, I'm just paraphrasing, are trading high value NFTs. So all the action we're seeing is from a very minute, very tiny amount of people. There's going to be billions of people playing games. There already are. And play to earn is going to be the default way that people play video games, as well as trading NFTs in the video games, and NFTs with utility inside these games and ownership of assets in these games is, well, it's going to be very similar to ownership of anything in the real world. It's going to be participated in by billions of people here soon, not 5 years from now, not 10 years from now, soon. And so the amount of people in the wave that's coming into it, I think it's going to make the NFT wave we just saw look small. So yeah, I definitely agree. We're on the same page.
This is a chart that shows the growth of the global gaming revenue over the last 20 years. And what you see on the green there is the global box office for films, and what you see in the blue there is the music industry. I mean, I see two flat lines and I see a parabola, right? That's what I see. I see an exponential chart, and then I see two, not even linear growth. I see almost languishing charts.
No, it's just apparently what it's already happened in the entertainment industry, but it's going to become more of a lifestyle. Whereas we've seen the transition in NFTs, particularly because we deal with most of our interaction with each other online. So it's apparent that the ownership of real estate and the interaction and the ownership of your appearance online, for lack of words, is going to be incredibly important. It already is. We're seeing how it's working in the profile picture, and that's like the most prehistoric version of this right now. That's like the baby version of what we're going to be seeing when it comes to ownership of assets in the digital realm. I think we're going to see that go even further ahead as more people put money in the same way we've seen crypto.
Today, we are discussing a massive, massive move from Bitcoin on the horizon. This is, of course, in a climate of regulatory FUD from literally all angles, as in reality, Bitcoin is setting up for an historic run. What we know for a fact is that the on-chain metrics tell the tale that oftentimes the charts and the news do not. And that's why it's super important to discuss the topic that we have today, which is, of course, one that Mr. Will Clemente is going to help us shine some light on. Let's go ahead and bring in the man himself, helping you bring a little bit of panic to the chaos. Mr. Will Clemente, thank you so much for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Hey, brother. Happy to be back on again. How you doing?
Really good. Thank you for joining us. A lot of folks in this industry don't know what's going on. They don't know what is happening when things like the recent flash crash that we had just occur out of nowhere, and they figure there must be some real reason that something is flawed with Bitcoin, that something is flawed with Ethereum. What do you have to say to those people who might be in a state of panic right now?
So like this recent move was pretty much all driven by derivatives. It wasn't any, long-term investors that were doing the selling. It was just pretty much a cascade of liquidations. And so for listeners, the way you can kind of think of this is, let's say a trader has their stop loss set at, I'm just coming up with a completely arbitrary number. Let's say it's 50,000, right? And so if the price goes down to 50,000, that stop loss gets triggered and they become a forced seller in the market. And so once they are forced to sell, then the price moves down to, 49,950, right? And then that triggers the next person's stop loss. Then they become a forced seller. And so you have this cascading effect where when you get a lot of leverage in the system, you're very apt to these kind of wipeouts. And this is exactly what we had the other day. And so like when you looked at open interest, which is the total amount of value locked in futures contracts, that was way up. And so what that was basically saying is like all the leveraged apes were going crazy, right? They all thought we were about a moonshot, so everyone was leverage longing. And so yeah, like I think we were somewhat prone to this. I was a little caught off guard by how massive the move was, but nonetheless, that's what it was. When you look at on-chain data, it tells a completely different story. While all the leverage traders got wiped out, what you actually had was whales coming in and scooping up cheap coins. And so I have a couple different indicators that, track accumulation. When you actually look at the underlying market structure and then like the behavior of investors, which isn't always perfectly reflected by price when you get these liquidation events, right? That hasn't changed whatsoever, only strengthened on that day. So yeah, I don't see anything that's concerning to me whatsoever in kind of the broader landscape. I think we still go much higher over the coming months.
So as we enter into bear trap territory, the opportunity to get bargain basement prices on some of the best coins in the entire ecosystem that will most likely be the recipients of much pumpage and much growth is absolutely there. Solana will most likely reach over $500 in a blow off top. You're also going to see the other L1s make massive growth. You see now the early movers in Polkadot and Kusama are going to get massive growth as well. And of course, the same is true of Cardano and other ecosystems. Now, of course, you want to be following the news with these ecosystems because there are fundamental changes that are coming to them that are going to incentivize a ton of adoption. So you want to understand how that process is working. It's one of the major keys of this video. But also, of course, there are going to be actual high quality video games and gaming projects that are going to be releasing. A lot of the ones out there on the market are pretty low quality, but just know that this trend is coming and it's coming in waves. And as the market crashes, as Ethereum fees drop, that's when NFTs and gaming ecosystem are going to come into full flex and absolutely explode. Somebody said it today, NFT Winter Wonderland is going to be a sight to behold. And right now I'm seeing some fire sale prices in NFT land, which is of course when everyone gets scared and runs away. Are you learning? Are you learning how the game works though? Are you learning how to understand where the stores of value are gonna be, where the important tech is gonna be? Because if you develop your thesis right and you understand Polkadot and Kusama have parachains, early movers have protection and a moat, so those early projects like Moon River are probably going to be good bets. Those are the types of theses that will help you get ahead of the market and stay ahead. And so we've been trying to give you the keys. Again, we're trying to give you the path to these coins. Because if I just make a video saying XYZ coin is gonna pump, then everyone's just gonna try to jump into something at once, and that's not healthy for anyone. But if I give you the keys to unlock these achievements on your own, then you will actually have a chance to get ahead of the market. And getting ahead of crypto, even for one day, even for 1 week, can be life-changing. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you have that bell notification on. And of course, we're gonna be keeping you informed each and every step of the way.